Hi, it's Mama Robin or Texas Beach Mom, whichever you prefer. If you came back, great, thank you so much. And if you're new, welcome. I try to be here every Wednesday. Mostly cover Watts on Wednesday, but I do cover other stuff as well. And because today is Watts Wednesday, and I've had a lot of people ask me some questions about a very specific person involved in the case, that's what I'm going to cover today. So, people have asked me my opinion of Nicole Kessinger. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right. So let's go. I don't even know where to start. Nicole Kessinger. We want my honest opinion. Okay. So with that being said, I think she's a mess. I think she's an absolute fucking mess. I think she had something to do with the murders. Now, to what extent? I don't know. I have no idea to what extent. I don't know if she's just a catalyst. I don't know if she gave him an ultimatum. I don't know if she physically did something. I'm not saying that Chris doesn't deserve to be where he is, because he deserves it 150%. And I will stand by that. He will always deserve it. But the question still remains, if he had not known her, would he have done it? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one. I can't. I think there's a chance he might have anyway, somewhere down the road. But I think she definitely, at the minimum, was a catalyst on that particular subject. As he has said in many interviews, prison interviews, while he doesn't feel remorse for what he did, he also said that Shanann didn't do anything wrong enough to warrant what he did. He told Tammy Lee that he killed her because he was mad at her. And she's like, well, what did you do? Can you pinpoint it? And he said, no, nothing really, nothing specific. And I think a lot of that had to do with his mom and his sister and Nicole whispering in his ear, pushing. So if you're Cindy Watts lovers, I'm sorry. I don't like the woman. I do feel a tiny bit bad for her. She did lose her son to some degree, but she can still go see him through a glass partition. She can still talk to him. She can still go see him. The Rusicks can't go see Shanann. She's dead. So my heart goes out way to them constantly. I'm trying to take the high road on this Cindy Watts thing. I can't do it. I don't really think I feel any pity. I try to. I just don't. I'm sorry if that makes me cold-hearted in some of your opinion, but I just don't. Yeah, she did lose a son, but again, she can go see that son. They can't go see Shanann. They can't see those kids. They can't see those babies. But this goes back to Nicole Kessinger, because that's what people ask me about. I think that she had played a part in it. I also know that she has a criminal background before Chris. She was arrested for some sort of drunken involvement at 18 and again at 19. And all that stuff you can go check it out yourself. Supposedly, allegedly, she was also involved in a physical altercation with a man using a knife, and allegedly hurt him in the back with that knife. Allegedly, supposedly, she was in a house that she wasn't supposed to be in to start with. She was messing around with some boy. She was in a house that she wasn't supposed to be in to start with. She was messing around with some boy, giving him oral. When the owners of the home came in and caught her, now she apparently knew the owners. It's not like she just broke into somebody's home and performed oral on somebody's couch in their living room. No, she knew the people. They knew her. They knew her family at the very least. And she wasn't supposed to be in that home. She either wasn't supposed to be in there at all, or she wasn't supposed to be in there when the parents were gone, because she was like 16. But this is all alleged. I don't have proof of any of it. As a matter of fact, if you want to know more about that particular story, go watch Crime Catalyst. She was one of the people I probably should have mentioned when I was talking about the good channels and the bad channels. Or not necessarily bad channels, channels that could do better. Meredith is a bad channel. Neeks Peaks ain't much better. There's a few of them that kind of fall in the middle, where they're not bad channels necessarily, but I feel like they could do better. And then there's a bunch that are really good. Crime Catalyst does a really good job, and she's got a lot of information. She does a lot of deep dives on Nicole. So if you want more of the alleged story, go see Crime Catalyst. Just take care of that. Back to Nicole. She has had some altercations with the law. And I can hear some of you going, well, I find pretty far-fetched that she might have killed somebody. I didn't say she did. I'm saying I'm not sure. Because I'm honestly not sure. I don't think it was that hard for her, though. The other thing I've been thinking about when people ask me about Nicole Kessinger is this crap about they only dated for 6 weeks. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think so. No, I mean, I know people that supposedly fall in love in a matter of weeks and get married. And they might have been one of those couples. I don't know. But I don't think it was only 6 weeks. And I do think she stalked him. I don't think he stood a chance when she made up her mind, when she zeroed in on him. I think she said exactly what he wanted to hear and behaved in the way exactly like he wanted so that she could walk down the aisle with him, maybe. I mean, I know she was shopping for wedding dresses, but I'm not entirely sure she actually would have gone through with it. I don't know. But I definitely think she was involved on some level. And I do have theories on how they met. Or actually, I have a theory, and interestingly enough, my son has a theory. So let me cover my theory first, because I don't think they met at Anadarko. I don't. So let me cover my theory. My theory is, if you remember, if most of you who are familiar with the case, you remember back in the beginning when they first moved to Colorado, their Shanann's mom and dad, Frank and Sandra, moved in with them for a while and lived in the basement. I don't know why the basement, because it was a 5-bedroom house, but whatever, I digress. Anyhow, they lived with them for a while. And during that time, according to a lot of different things that you can pick up from the Discovery and interviews and whatnot, he was going to the gym back then. And I think she was going to the same gym. I think it was one of those where she saw him across the room or he saw her across the room. The more often he would go, she would be there. They might have exchanged a few glances. Maybe eventually some small talk. Maybe eventually some flirting. And I think Shanann knew about it. And the reason I think that is because, number one, after Sandra and Frank moved out, she bought gym equipment and put it in the basement so he wouldn't have to go to the gym anymore. That's something that a woman does when she's suspicious. Number two, at some point, I don't remember the dates on this, but it can be looked up, so I'm sorry. She had talked to, I do believe, as a divorce attorney about custody, child custody in Colorado law, at a restaurant. If people have questions, they can't find the information, send me a question in the comments and I'll look it up. Right now, top of my head, I'm not remembering it. But she had talked to, I do believe it was a divorce attorney, and she talked to him about custody rights in Colorado law. So I think she suspected something back then. I think that's why she bought the gym equipment, and I think that's why she was talking to that attorney. I think, like I said, I think they met at the gym. I think they, like I said, exchanged some glances, some faraway glances, then maybe some small talk, and then maybe after the small talk, maybe some flirting. But I think she set her sights on him right then and there. And I think that she started researching him online, found out he was married, started researching Shanann, found out they were together, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think she figured out where he worked, got herself transferred over to where he was at, because they were seen way before the relationship started. They were seen quietly talking with each other, the water cooler and this and that, that other type thing. So that's my theory on how they met. My son has an interesting theory. I don't know how well it holds, but this is his theory. I'm going to go ahead and share it. My son's theory is that since she did have Facebook at the time, she stumbled onto Shanann's Facebook post, saw the videos, thought Shanann was beautiful, wanted to be kind of like Shanann, would probably not have admitted that, but wanted to be like Shanann, saw the post, started engaging, and then in one of the videos she saw Chris and went, ooh, la la, I want that man's. That man's is going to be my man's. And kind of did the same thing in his scenario as in mine, where she gets herself transferred to Anadarko. She starts talking to him, da-da-da-da-da. But I don't think it lasted. I don't think it was just 6 weeks. So to summarize, I think she's a piece of crap. I know she's had problems with the law. There has been alleged things that I can't prove, but it is just my opinion. I do think she was involved, but I just don't know what on level. I don't think that was just 6 weeks. I think she knew him before that. I think she met him at the gym. My son thinks she found him more or less on Facebook through Shanann. And I don't think he stood a chance. I think once she set her sights on him, I think it was done. Whether he knew it or not. And that's all I really got on Nicole Kessinger. There was one thing I wanted people to think about. Kind of going back to the case. You know how there's 2 things I want to cover. Number 1 was actually covered by another channel. And the name of that channel is called We Need Ice. She's done a pretty good job. But I got this idea from her. We Need Ice mentions the fact that Chris did say that him and Shanann were intimate before he killed her. Okay. She says almost this word for word. I'm taking this from her. We Need Ice said this. I'm repeating it. She said, but let's be adults. Let's think about this for a minute. Let's say, Chris is telling the truth. Let's say they were intimate. Let's say he strangled her after sex or even at the height of the sexual experience. Let's be adults and say that maybe they were in a popular position to where he was behind her. Let's say that during the height of the sex is when he reached his hands across her throat. You know, some people like to have their hands placed on the throat and then just start strangling her. It's food for thought. I think it's worth thinking about. I think she's on to something. That's a possibility. If they did, in fact, have sex, or they had marital relations that morning. If, in fact, they had marital relations that morning, as he says, and since there's no proof that she fought back, there is the possibility that they were in a popular position. He was behind her. He reached his hand around her, grabbed her neck like that. Initially in kind of a sexually seductive way. You know, some people like to play rough. And maybe he started strangling her from behind. That would explain why she didn't fight back. Now, here's something she didn't cover. This is food for thought, and this is something I've never seen anybody theorize before. Stop and think about this. He also claims he strangled her in bed. I don't buy that, and let me explain why I don't buy that. At the time of her death, she would have, all of her bodily fluids would have expelled. They would have gone through the sheet and soaked into that mattress. When all those fluids release, they wouldn't have just sat on top of the sheet. No. Think about it, ladies. If you start menstruating in the middle of the night, it goes through your underwear, your jammies, and onto your sheet, and sometimes onto your mattress. That's just menstruating. If she released her bodily fluids on that mattress would have had a big, nasty, smelly stain on it. So that's reason to think that she didn't kill him, that she wasn't killed in bed. She might have been killed during sex, but maybe not in bed. I don't know where at. Maybe he talked her into doing it somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have sex at all. If they did have sex, her theory could be possible, that he strangled her from behind. And if they also, if they didn't have sex, or they had sex but maybe not there, I don't think so, because like I said, that stain would have gone all the way through that mattress. So, I would like to hear your thoughts on that one. A couple of good theories there. There's a couple of good theories on how Nicole met Chris, and there's a couple theories on why she didn't fight back, and a theory on why I don't think it was in bed, because those fluids would have been all over that mattress. They would have soaked in. It would have made a stain. It would have been a big nasty stain. It would have stunk really bad. And it would have been damn hard to get out in the amount of time he had to work with it. And he was seen in bed. Nicole Kessinger said she saw him, talk to him video in bed, and there was no sheets on the bed. If there had been a big nasty stain, she'd have seen it. And she might not have said anything, but she'd have seen it. The police would have seen it. Everybody would have seen it on the body cams. So there's food for thought. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. It's been a short video. I got a lot I want to cover with you. I might start doing 2 a week instead of just 1 a week. I have to see how things go. I'm going to guarantee Wednesdays. I might start throwing in another day of the week, though. Anyhow, at this point, I'm wrapping this up. Texas Beach Mom loves you. I want you to stay safe. Be good.